Well, greetings interwebs. Today, your favorite special guest star is back all the way from
Alabama!
My sister Cynthia. Now, this is going to be different because I had no idea what she's going to make. She just called and said, I'm coming over, I'm going to cook something. So she brought stuff. So let's get to it, shall we? Okay, so here's what we're working with. And that's all we're working with. Sausage, pick sweet mixed vegetables, rice, and beef broth. Now let's get to it.
Okay, here's my idea. I was rummaging through my freezer one night, didn't have a whole lot in the way of groceries, and I had an idea. And I said, I can do something with some sausage that I've got. We make our own sausage at the grocery store I work at, Terry's Groceries in Smith Station. Everybody local to us knows us. We are just a small independent store, family owned, family operated. I've been there for several years now and I can't find myself anywhere else. But we make the sausage there, and I can tell you Keith and Tracy do a remarkable job on the spices and the seasoning in the sausage. So I had a can of beef broth in my cabinet. I had some mixed vegetables in my cabinet, or in my freezer, and I said, I can do something with this. And it has turned out to be one of mine and my husband's favorite meals. It feeds both of us for a couple of days, and we go to bed very satisfied with it. And I just thought that I would share that with y'all tonight. So let's get cooking. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, we're gonna just brown some meat. These are 1 pound packs. This is how we fix it up at work. And like I said, it is just remarkable. They've got the seasoning mixture real literally down to a science. And my brother will be so remarkably happy because I know where it is. Who do we have our guest star? Where's my guest star? So this just takes a minute, brown the meat, and then we'll go from there. Okay, now that we've got this all good and brown and not raw anywhere anymore, what we're going to do at this point, open up the vegetables. No, you do not have to drain this. It's made with ground pork loin, so there is almost no grease in it. There's just a little bit. I don't drain it. I don't do anything to it once it's brown. With this bag of vegetables, thank you, we're only going to use about half the bag. You don't need all of them. For 1 pound of meat, you literally only need about half of it. And then I'll put the beef broth in. Got my not so lovely assistant over here helping me. You just pour in the beef broth. Went on a little adventure. I didn't think about him not having a skillet with a lid. So I called. Turns out he did not have a skillet with a lid that I could use other than this big skillet. Didn't need, that's overkill. So, good thing being raised kind of military, you learn how to adapt and overcome. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you to my sons that were Air Force and Marines. We learned adapt and overcome. So, going to use this griddle as a lid. Just cover it up, turn down the heat. We're going to let this simmer for probably about 20 minutes. I'll keep checking it. Check the beans. When the green beans start turning colors, that's how you kind of know it's done. You can give it a stir in between here and there. And then we'll put on a little bit of rice. We'll be ready to eat.
A little later.
Okay, so it's time to start the rice. My famous 2-1 rice. If you recall, 1 scoop of rice, no matter what size scoop you use, 1 of that scoop, and 2 scoops of water, same scoop. That way it's always the same size. And then the magic number for the microwave, 17 minutes. There you go. Follow that simple formula. You have perfect rice every time.
Soon after.
Okay, so I came over and I checked what was cooking. When you first put the green beans in, they're really brilliant, bright green, but they're now starting to dull down a little bit. So I got Hal to go ahead and put the rice on. We're at about 10 minutes. One thing I forgot to mention is I always top it off with just a little bit of flour. It doesn't take much. I don't measure it out. We've been through this before. I don't measure anything. But you want to use what would break down to probably around a tablespoon, give or take, of flour in here. Just throw it in. When the rice gets to 10 minutes, we'll just throw it in, stir it a little bit, cover it back up, and then we'll have to stir it a few more times to keep it from sticking. But what that does is creates a gravy so that it's not so watery. It'll thicken it up a little bit, make it just a little bit heartier. So we're at 10 minutes, we're just a little under 10 minutes now. So what I'm gonna do is just put in a little flour. Like I said, it's gonna come out to probably around a tablespoon or so. This looks about right.
That was more like a quarter of a cup.
Yeah, it looks like about a tablespoon.
Okay.
Quarter cup would have filled up my hand. And then we'll just stir this in. We're gonna let this cook down. Don't worry about lumps. The longer it cooks, this is the thing about cooking gravy. You get lumpy gravy, let it cook, add a touch of water. I promise the lumps will cook out. This, you know, it may still be thin. It's just do it until you get the formula right, basically. But this is what we're doing for tonight. So I've got that all nice and stirred in. I'm gonna cover it back up. And y'all remember, if you're liking what you're learning, don't forget, you know where the buttons are. Make my brother a happy man. Woohoo!
11 minutes later.
All right, so I believe this is pretty well done. I did add just a little bit more flour to thicken it up, just a hair more. But this is looking pretty good to me. This is looking like a good, I don't know what you would call it. I just call it my sausage stuff. Maybe some kind of a sausage goulash. I don't know. I never really thought about a name. But as soon as the countdown ends on the rice, we'll be ready to eat. And I think my brother will be in for a nice surprise on the taste.
Perfect rice every time. See?
Nice rice. The poet didn't know it. And just, I figured I would do something that, you know, you can use. I brought sausage all the way from
Alabama!
and it's the best sausage in my opinion, that you can get.
Now, obviously, you don't live around Smith Station, well, unless you do. So you're not going to get their local grocery store homemade or handmade sausage. So we used a pound of ground pork sausage. In your own area, probably go to the local grocery store or look for a local butcher's mart, or just ask around and say, hey, where do y'all get some good local sausage?
But if all else fails and you can't find it, just buy you a roll of Jimmy Dean, or he's got some Smithfields in the
Good
freezer.
old-fashioned Jimmy Dean, this stuff rocks.
You can use any kind of ground sausage. You can use turkey sausage. This happens to be ground pork loin.
And as I've said before, though, if you use turkey or chicken sausage, because I know some of y'all don't eat pork, you're gonna need to add a little bit of oil to it because it's really, really dry meat. There's no, no grease or fat. So yeah, add a little bit of olive oil in with it.
Yes, yes. This being the pork loin, it has minimal grease, but there is some in it, so it's enough to keep it cooking and not sticking.
Now, I haven't eaten all day. I'm really hungry. I'm dying to try this. So here we go.
Yeah, he's not tried it before. So.
Yeah, it's, you can see it's 7:40 at night, and I've not eaten since breakfast.
And he looks like he's about to blow away.
Yeah, look at me. I'm all skin and bones. Got to keep my girlish figure.
Nice. 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 Nice.
And remember, this has no extra seasoning of any kind added into it.
Yeah.
I personally generally put a little salt in my rice.
Okay, so
That's
I was
me.
expecting this to be extremely bland. There's no salt, no pepper, no garlic salt, no nothing. Just what you saw her put in, that's all there is. And the rice really sucks up any salt. But this has a lot of flavor. It's really good. You can really taste the sausage. And of course, the broth really adds to it. And this is a good hearty meal. This is what we say, stick to your ribs.
But let me just add a side note. If you do use turkey or chicken ground, you might want to use chicken broth. The beef broth helps to bring out the flavor in the pork because it is pork loin, so it does need a little bit of help with the flavor. That beef broth brings the flavor out for it. So just, you can vary the recipe however it suits you, but it is simple. It is extremely inexpensive. I think everything that we have here was about $6.
I actually bought the stuff with my Winn-Dixie Rewards points. I didn't pay any money for it.
And I paid like $3 for the sausage. So there you go. It's as inexpensive as it gets. You see how much it makes. You can feed your family, or if there's only two of you, like myself and my husband, we eat on it for a couple of days. Plus, he has lunch one day. So it goes a long way.
And now I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat. So, be seeing you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Every weekend